Four parents, 9 kids, 2 houses. Didn't really wanna talk about this. Four parents, 9 kids, some queer. One thing's clear, there's no dysfunction here. Four parents, 9 kids, 2 houses. Didn't really wanna talk about this. Four parents, 9 kids, some queer. One thing's clear, there's no dysfunction here.
Dave, hand me a beer.
Hey everybody, welcome to episode 17 of No Dysfunction Here. That's our
Yay!
podcast.
Thanks.
Welcome.
Thanks.
Hello.
Welcome. Hello.
Welcome one and all. Is this better for
Do you think with all of our international listeners, we should probably be welcoming people?
Annyeonghaseyo.
We'll call
Donde?
Hola.
Konnichiwa. Ohayo gozaimasu.
Domo arigato.
El Nino is Spanish for the Nino.
What's that on?
Saturday Night Live. Chris Farley.
Chris,
Oh,
I was going to
that's
say
right.
Adam Sandler, but I knew that was wrong.
That's good.
Well, welcome everybody. What a week to be alive on planet Earth. My good Lord, so much happening.
Lot going
How do
on.
we feel about it?
I feel great. The government's getting more efficient, or so I've heard.
Yeah, that was great.
Lots of planes have landed safely, and so
That's good news.
I'm trying to look at things with more of a positive spin.
So is the government.
Our new spinner.
Yeah.
Oh,
Speaking
we got
of
a
spinners.
spinner.
Yeah, look at that.
It's the simple things in life that
Winner, chicken spinner.
Makes it
Start
happy.
spinning it now so we
Creative.
can have a name
Right,
by
yeah.
the time we.
Amazon and Tips handwriting.
Heck yeah, I
Beautiful.
actually love your handwriting.
So new spin on
I
things.
like
We
that.
have a new spinner.
That's great.
Maybe when,
Good work,
I don't know
baby.
if I'm invited to get the Together Through Life tattoo with you guys, but when we all get it together, I think it
Assume the
should be a
sale.
Tips
Yeah.
handwriting.
There you go. I like that.
Yeah.
No pressure.
She toils writing it 1,000 times. That's not it.
Should we do it today at 5?
Yeah.
Yeah, we got
I
time.
know a guy. We're always ready for a family tattoo. That would be a fun little TikTok to show our day of getting tattoos all together. That was a
Ooh.
special day.
Yes.
So we talked earlier this week about starting a few different things, and maybe as a way of getting to know each other. First of all, we need to say who we are. So I used to be married to that guy.
And I'm Jake. I used to be married to Toby.
That's right.
And
Who are
now I'm
you?
married to Tiff. And there was only like 1 week overlap.
Yeah.
And I'm married to
Quick
Jake,
process.
who sits next to AJ.
Yeah.
And he's my man. That's my man.
Look at all that marriage, left and right.
I was like 3 weeks overlap.
We are pros
right.
at divorce and marriage and separation. We've been through it all.
Pros, we've been through it all.
We're
Pros is a loose
experienced. I
term.
don't know if we're
Yeah.
pros. We've had some, and not just in our immediate family, but my mom's been married 6 times. My dad's been married 4 times. There's a lot of marriage going on in our lives.
Yeah.
It's really
And
beautiful
why?
when you think about it.
Marriage.
You know, maybe
Love to love.
I was thinking maybe polygamy wasn't that bad because all they did was focus on the positive. You know, no one's out here getting divorced. Like, it's just like, you know
Just
what?
add another one.
We're kind of bored. This isn't really working out. What if we just bring someone else in?
How's
Another
Martha?
wife-
Is she
Yeah.
18
Another wife
yet?
fixes everything.
Yeah, it's basically the same as playing PlayStation. Like, you get tired of the two of you, and you're just like, who else could play?
Yeah.
You know?
We need a new player.
Yeah.
And another tax credit.
Yeah.
Is there should be something for that for polygamy, like it's like married times 6 or whatever, so you get a bigger discount. I like that.
I just realized I think I manifested having a sister wife because I always grew up learning about the Mormon sister wives, and I always thought like, man, that would be so nice to like split the responsibilities with another woman, and I hit the jackpot on and we don't have to be married, we just get to help each other out. It's great. So
Win-win.
manifesting.
So what are we doing first?
2 truths and a lie.
Oh, that's right.
But I do think today's polygamists, like, they're really good at working the system. Like,
Oh,
whether it
sure.
be tax credits or food stamps or yada, yada, yada.
You
Yeah.
apply with your.
Like, I think
one
that's
in-
usually how they get them into jail first.
really.
Is by nabbing them for that and then trying to figure out how to charge them for the other stuff.
That is
Tax
so
fraud
interesting.
or using we need to take more advantage of the government, it sounds like. Me and my sister wife.
I'm just now realizing that I'm not okay with polygamists being oppressed. They should be out there loving whoever they want to and
Free
being married
love.
to whoever they want to.
Yeah, just leave the kids out of it.
Not being one, I didn't have much say, but now I'm like, now we need to defend the polygs.
So
Yeah.
when you were a Mormon, you know, like as far as the LDS believe, and I'm not positive on this, my LDS family and friends can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that they believe they'll have the wives in the other life still. You know, like my dad is sealed in the temple to multiple women, and I think the belief is that he'll be with them again. So when you were Mormon, did you have the desire to be a polygamist
Oh,
or?
God, no. No, just one. But my mom, same thing. My dad was married before, and his wife passed away young, like, I think while pregnant or something. Yeah, like complications. It was an issue. And my mom expressed to us kids that she believed that, even though she never met that lady, that it was like her best friend in heaven, and that they were going to be sister wives together in heaven. And I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah, different beliefs.
But yeah, I don't know.
I feel like it's with Mormons and caffeine. Some of them will tell you that you're not allowed to have it, and some will tell you that you are. It just depends on which Mormon you ask on whether. Like, I don't think it's a hard, steadfast rule on if you've been sealed to more than one woman in your life. If you're guaranteed to have both of them on the other side.
Yeah, I
Like,
don't know if that's doctrine.
I don't
they
think
teach.
anybody's going to be willing to just straight up say. No leader would be willing to straight up say, in my opinion. But I think it's also fair to include that the current large Mormon religion does not practice polygamy.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
against the rules. Fundamentalist.
But my
groups too.
ancestors,
Right.
my great grandpa Guyman would tell us stories about living in Mexico as a kid because his family was polygamous and they outlawed it. So my family moved to Mexico and he spoke Spanish and yeah, interesting. Chihuahua, Mexico, there was a Mormon settlement when they outlawed polygamy. So
So
Is that why
today's
Taco
topic,
Bell
polygamy.
has the
Chihuahua,
yeah?
probably.
It's all coming
No.
together.
Yep.
The Taco Bell dog doesn't drink coffee.
Making sense.
But it is a
lot of
polygamous.
sense.
Like sidebar, but along with it, The Bachelor.
Oh yeah.
What's her name?
This is great.
Oh,
yeah. Very
Yes. I was
interesting.
wondering if any of my Mormon family is watching because we're excited to see her.
Yes.
They're doing hometowns and it's an LDS girl who's one of the 4 finalists. So they're going to go to her Mormon family in Utah.
Yeah.
See how that goes. I'm curious. She seems like a super sweetheart.
She does, but like I love that Grant's nerves were the same as mine. He's like, I have tattoos, I have piercings. I'm like, that's the same thing
are
I
they gonna
thought
think?
before I met Jake's family. I'm like, they're not gonna like me.
My
my
guess
gosh.
is that it'll be the like surprise that he's very well accepted. Is my guess. So.
Oh, I think his
I hope
family,
so.
the
I like
family
her.
will, and that'll probably make it more difficult to make a decision because it's like, what do I do? But
I
yeah,
love The
Yeah, it's
Bachelor.
tough. It's tough stuff.
Very drama filled.
yeah,
Not a big Bachelor fan.
not into it.
It's fine. 3 against 1.
Yeah, I can't wash without champagne.
We do like
how you do it.
champagne while we watch The Bachelor.
Yeah.
All right, what's your 2 truths and a lie, honey?
Well, you'll never guess. Because that's how good they're gonna be.
All right.
I'll tell you. 3 very true things about me are one, in 4th grade, my 4th grade teacher kissed me on the lips.
Whoa.
2 would be that as an adult, I got very drunk and went down a public water slide extremely naked, and hundreds of people saw me do it. And then, was that number 2?
Yeah.
Number 3 would be my very first day of kindergarten. I got on the wrong bus and drove around for a couple of hours, and then the bus driver found me and got me back to my mom eventually.
First day.
Yeah,
Oh.
first day of kindergarten. Or was it?
Are you okay?
I don't know anymore.
A lot of those explain a whole lot.
Yeah.
No.
I said they were all true.
This is gonna be good for us.
Explain
It's
all.
gonna ruin our whole relationship. We're like, ew.
All right, guys. What is it?
I think the lie is that in 4th grade, your teacher kissed you on the lips.
Okay.
What do you think, Jake? I know. I think
He
I'm
was
positive.
the teacher.
In 4th grade.
Well, before you guess, then. We gotta know what these guys think over here. We gotta know
I
that
think
guess.
the lie was the second one. I'm about the water slide.
Water slide. Okay.
Water slide, naked.
Hundreds of people.
Hundreds of people
a
seeing
whole
you
lot of
go down a
people.
slide.
That's a whole lot of people and not very many balls. Just 2. But I was leaning towards that being the lie as well. I'm not gonna lie.
Okay.
So
All right. What was it, honey?
That's a good
It
answer.
was, I know, the
What is
lie is getting kissed by your 4th grade teacher.
That is actually, you're right, the lie. So good job.
Yeah,
That
Tiff
is the lie.
wins. Good one.
Although I think he thought about it a few times. Yep, I did have a male 4th grade teacher. He was actually my bishop in the Mormon church,
Oh man, that's
which would
hilarious.
have been great as a true story, but it's not.
So yeah, the water slide story is absolutely true.
Yeah,
And
what you didn't know is that those hundreds of people were also naked. So
Oh,
yes,
so it was okay.
makes
we
it a
went
little
on
easier.
an adult-only cruise that was mostly a bunch of swingers, and
Yeah.
they rented out an entire huge water park
like in Mexico.
in Mexico, and everyone was bug naked, including us, and a
plastered.
DJ and open bar, and we were flying down fucking water slides, bug naked,
good
drunk.
times.
It was so fun. We had a blast. We made friends.
Yeah.
Eyes up here.
you're stressing me out with your stories.
I was always like, eyes down here. Why aren't you looking?
We have had some fun times. Yeah.
We've had some crazy friends, that's for sure.
We have had crazy friends, but it's all good. Good job, babe.
Thanks.
That was very
You
good.
fooled some of us.
Mm-hmm.
Way to go. So what are we talking about today?
Forgive.
Forgiveness.
That's right, forgiveness.
topic.
And I feel like we're already halfway through the episode.
Yeah, well,
but we're getting there.
I forgive you for that.
Yeah. Forgiveness is a toughie, and I feel like my definition of forgiveness evolves as I evolve.
Agreed.
So,
Yeah, I think it has to, and if it doesn't, then you're not growing because, and I think a real core lesson I've learned through the journey of life is that true forgiveness really cannot happen until you figure out how to forgive yourself for things, because we hold on to all the things that other people do somewhere because we're not ready to tell ourselves we're okay with the things we messed up on or the things we could have done better and whatnot. So we'll forgive, and sometimes it even looks like like for me, it's always been like, oh yeah, forgive you, no big deal, whatever, like I want to get past that quickly and be okay, but then I'm not actually sitting in the feelings of like, wow, that hurt me, or wow, I was upset, or whatever it was, and so those things still stay and come back around at like a different time, and it catches me off guard, or at a time where I don't want it to be there, and now I have emotions around it that are negative or angry or whatever, because I'm not actually going through the process of feeling the hard things and forgiving someone, or doing that for myself first. So
I think for me, it does go back to a lot of forgiving myself, but it also requires communication, and it's not always directly communicating with the person who wronged us, but within our family unit, I think that has been a big part of our healing as a family, is directly communicating about hard things. And one specific time comes to mind, not that long ago, where, Jake and I pretty recently sat in their backyard, and just hashed out some things, and I told Jake things that still hurt me from our relationship, and he told me things that still hurt him from our relationship that I didn't even really understand, or I wasn't aware of the way that my behavior hurt him in a lot of ways. And through a very difficult time in our family, we did not treat each other well, and there's just a lot there. And as we come together and try and work together as a family, if we don't clear that stuff out, it gets triggered, and then we cannot be fully authentic with each other. Then we're faking. If something gets triggered, and so we are upset inside, but we're having to be friendly and happy, and that shit's exhausting, and I hate it. I hate faking it, you know? And so if we want to have a fully authentic flow as a family and truly enjoy each other as a family, we have to communicate about hard things when they come up, and they cannot just be resolved within ourselves or within our own partnerships. And in doing that, I think all of us hope that our children will also do that, not just with each other, but with us, you know? And our daughter, when we were in Idaho recently, all together brought up like that she has hard things come up, and she doesn't know how to talk to us about those things, and is it appropriate to come and bring you, because she's like, I don't want to make you feel bad for doing things that hurt me, but I also want to feel better from them, and we had a good conversation around that. But I think even that communication is so healthy and important if we're going to truly cultivate an authentic and joyful family experience. So.
Absolutely.
I love it. Thank you. Good work. I think so much of what we naturally try to do in our society is to just sweep shit under the rug. Just like forgive without hashing it out, or forget, or both, or don't do either, but just not talk about it, sweep it under the rug, and try and move on, and pretend that everything's okay, fake it till you make it, whatever it is, one of a dozen things. But Toby's right, it is absolutely exhausting, like, unless you actually do honestly have that full on with each other and just like iron out all the kinks. And sometimes it is to agree to disagree, because, you know, during that hard conversation, we didn't figure out every single category. Mm-hmm. We're just like, okay, we're at a standstill on this one, and we have to agree that it was 13 years ago, and we're different people that care more now, or are trying harder now, and maybe we're remembering things different or remembering things wrong because we really can't figure it out. Can't really like get down to the nitty gritty and figure out what went wrong in whatever category it was. Sometimes you just have to agree to disagree.
But one thing that we learned during therapy when we were going together was the idea of the benefit of the doubt. And like you hear that all the time, like, oh, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt, or whatever it is. But when we're talking about deep, meaningful, personal family relationships, sometimes there's history there, things that have happened, like you said, 13 years ago, or, you know, like sometimes it has to be like leave the past in the past at a certain point. What happens is we stop, I believe, giving the people we love and care about the benefit of the doubt that their intention is good, that what they're trying to do is be helpful, or, you know, the way they hurt us wasn't on purpose. Because the reality is if it was on purpose, you're not in a loving relationship, you're in a toxic situation, you know? And so to look at everything as benefit of the doubt, you know, this person did this, said this, whatever it was, it hurt me. What was the intention there? What, you know, were they feeling frustrated or upset about something? Did they have a really hard day or whatever, and they just let something out that they didn't even really mean, or whatever? Going into trying to resolve something with somebody and get to a place of forgiveness is so much more helpful if you can look at that person and say, okay, they're trying their best, and that's good with me. You know, it helps us let go of the things we want to hold on to that we're keeping ourselves safe with. Like, oh, this person said this, did this, whatever. No, like, you're not going to hurt me with that again, instead of being open and saying, okay, I totally understand that that's not what you're like, and you wouldn't be that way on purpose towards me. So I just want you to know it hurt, you know, and I appreciate you apologizing, or whatever, you know, it might be that needs to be talked about. Benefit of the doubt has really helped me look at those situations differently than I did in the past.
That's a major thing that I've had to learn in our partnership. But what about when you feel like your ex does not have your best interest at heart, is being a jerk, is, you know, treating you terribly? What, in a situation where your ex and you do not get along and they don't give a fuck about you and they're treating you bad and they're not, you know, those kinds of things where they're not doing what's best for your kid, you're frustrated, you're angry, you've been abandoned, whatever, what does forgiveness look like in that situation, you know?
I think that that's kind of what we're talking about a little bit with trying to be helpful through our experience. Is we can all look back however long ago it was, 13, 14, 15 years, and say like, okay, yeah, I wasn't handling that the best, and in all these different ways that we're talking about on all these different episodes. And it's the higher level thing to do, to be able to recognize that earlier on and not later on. And so when you're feeling like this person does not like me, they're mad at me because they're my ex and they don't agree with this, that, whatever it might be, that's where it's most important to try to figure out the benefit of the doubt. Yes, I don't like them right now. Yes, I might feel like everything they're trying to do is to make my life harder, but is it actually that, or is it just that I'm upset because my kids are gone half the time, because I don't have all the control in like teaching them the way I would like to, or you know, guiding them in life the way that I feel is best, and like figuring out how to have the benefit of the doubt for an ex who you really might feel like doesn't have your best interests at heart, but trying to find a place where, you know, they are your children's mom or dad or whatever, and they love them too. And how do we give the benefit of the doubt there to see that I might not be right, and or all the time, or, you know, I think it's doable. It's just really hard, and it's probably more important then than it is later on, when it's easier to forgive and figure things out.
It's tricky.
Toby, I don't ask because you've ever been to an AA meeting for yourself, but you've been in so much support of so many other people throughout your life and gone to them. What is the beginning of the God grant me the serenity to
accept the things I cannot change, to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference.
Yeah. So using that advice at the beginning of the, or the end of the AA meetings, like, I don't know, it kind of falls in line with what you were saying, and just about being able to handle these situations with people that don't have your best interest at heart, and yada yada yada. Like, you know, just remember that, like, you know, what if this is the only life you get, or, you know, or just live every life to its fullest, carpe diem. Like, do you have the time and the energy to give that person that is ultimately bringing you down? But are they bringing you down, or are you letting them bring you down?
Bringing yourself down.
And yeah, you're bringing yourself down. And so that's where that God grant me the serenity, you know, and the wisdom to know the difference. It's like, okay, I am choosing to let this bring me down, or I could choose right now to have the best fucking day ever. Yeah. Maybe I should choose that. Like, I can't fix this right now. It's out of my hands. I want to be the best person I can be, and I'm going to have a good day.
Yes.
Absolutely.
I think that's important. It's like, if you can control, then let your emotions control that. If it's something you cannot control, like your ex, if they're being awful to you or yapping in your ear something that you don't want to hear, like, can you control what's coming out of their mouth? No. Focus on what you can control. And you don't have to forgive them in that moment. Maybe time is what is going to grant that forgiveness, because, you know, for you two, being married as long as you were, it wasn't the next day that you could say, I forgive you. It was years later, and giving that grace and that patience to be where you are now. You know what I mean? I know with my ex and I, like, forgiveness didn't happen for years after we separated and got divorced. And now we're in a place where we can have a cordial conversation, and that's happy to me. It's
When's
a
the wedding?
step in the right. Dude, like, I'm trying to be serious.
2004.
We needed to laugh. It was getting too serious.
Spin the wheel. Spin the wheel.
I got my dad jokes.
What have we
for the
done?
laugh.
You want me to tell a dad joke?
Yeah, I want to hear it. No, but I agree completely. It
Yeah.
does take time, and sometimes we have to forgive ourselves for not being ready to forgive. You know what I mean? And when I think about forgiveness, it's like, what? This elusive forgiveness? What is it? You know, I've achieved. What does it mean? I think forgiveness for me is freedom from whatever the issue is, from letting it affect me, you know, freedom from the pain and the suffering of whatever it is. And so in every situation, it might look different. What do I need to gain freedom, get my power back from this? For some, if the intention is negative, there are people who just want to see you suffer, then the forgiveness might look, the freedom retrieving that might look different than someone who needs the benefit of the doubt. Some people need boundaries, some people need grace, you know? And so forgiveness is letting it go, is surrendering to it in whatever way relieves you of it, you know? And so I think it looks different for every relationship and scenario.
I love that. I was just thinking of something along those same lines, and I'm seeing that it can tie really well together. I think we'll see how this goes, but I'll do the weave. We'll be right back there. But we look at forgiveness as like sometimes this monumental thing, like we're working up to it to be like, okay, I forgive you, and the other person feels relieved, and then whatever, you know. And I think that forgiveness probably works best as a constant practice and being someone who lives in the spirit of forgiveness, because you're living then in the benefit of the doubt. And there's not just it's not like something that needs to be achieved in order to move on. It's just a way of being. And if you can be somebody who lives their life in a way of benefit of the doubt for those around me and forgiving instantly, almost like immediately, like being able to do that, then you hold on to a lot less. Because I think what happens is, because we view it in that way of like, it's a thing that needs to happen and I'm responsible for doing it, and this person was responsible for causing the need to do it, it's like an opposing force is there that we have to then dissipate. And that's not how it needs to be. And what I see a lot is we do that and we're like, okay, I forgive you. But then a year down the road, something completely unrelated happens, and it's like, those feelings might still be there, or it reminds you of a different situation. And we spend our time so often like not forgiving really truly, because we're trying to work up something. It's almost sometimes feels like, oh, okay, I forgive you, like I don't want to deal with this anymore, but we're not actually feeling that in our heart. And so having an awareness that like, because you forgive someone doesn't mean there should be an expectation even from the other person that's been forgiven, that you won't have those feelings again, or that it won't be difficult again, but that what you're saying to the person is, I'm going to always do my very best to always just love you and forgive you and understand that you're doing your best. And so if I get frustrated by something again, if this comes up again, know that I'm trying my best and that I see you and I know you're trying your best, and I'm sorry that if it hits me in a different way or whatever, because we will forgive and move on and then never talk about it again, or never, if it comes up, it feels uncomfortable or awkward, like no, we already handled that. And that's not how it has to be. I feel like it can be an open, flowing conversation of understanding and support for each other through living a life that is in forgiveness.
I like that.
I don't even know if I made sense.
And even
Yeah.
like with being apologetic, like if you're going to say you're sorry, then that behavior needs to stop.
Yeah.
Because you can't do it tomorrow and say I'm sorry again, and then the next day and be like I'm sorry again, and you're expecting that same person to forgive you when you have to say I'm sorry every day. Like there has to be that willingness to change. And if you're like, why won't you forgive me? It's like, well, you won't change your behavior. So that's another thing.
And there's probably a difference between something like, hey, you cheated on me. That can't happen, you know? As opposed to, hey, you said you were going to do this thing and you forgot, you know? And that can be like to have an expectation that you're never going to do that again is creating negativity and dissonance that doesn't need to be there, because we're all going to forget, and we're trying, and what's the like, yes, I do want to be better. I want to make that happen less often, you know, but I can't be perfect. I can be perfect in the world of not cheating on you. Like, I understand that. If I mess up with that and I mess up again after you've forgiven me once, okay, I get it, you know, but like, if it's taking out the trash or doing this or whatever, you know, but at the same time, you have to like be working at, like, if it's a partnership, you know, and if you're committing, saying you're right, I can be better, I'm gonna try to my best to be more remembering of these things, then there should be improvement, you know, like it shouldn't just be the same thing over and over again for 50 years. Like, you have to show progress.
For sure.
Absolutely.
But even if it's something as simple as not taking out the trash, so when you say that you're going to, I mean, there's got to be some kind of different effort each time showing that you're, you know, you can't just shrug your shoulders and be like, sorry, I'm human, and it is just taking out the trash. It's not like I'm cheating. It's not like I'm cheating or
100%,
anything.
yeah.
You know, it's like if our kids make the same mistake over and over and over again, like sleeping in too late. You know, okay, well, if one alarm didn't work, what are we gonna do this time?
Right.
We're gonna do 2 alarms this time.
Yeah.
Are we gonna do a homing pigeon? Like, what are we gonna?
Yeah.
Like, you've got to try something different, because what happened last time didn't work. And in my opinion, although I don't do it perfectly, because I make mistakes and I forget shit that I promise, you know, but, you know, if you forget to take out the trash more than once, then you should be trying something new to
Yeah.
remember it.
What's
That's
the
how you
effort?
demonstrate that you give a fuck.
Absolutely. What's the effort? What are you trying to do to change, you know? Not just being like, oh, sorry, forgot again.
Not me. I'm just a preacher, man.
Yeah, no, you're great at it.
I just have the good ideas.
I think we hold on to the things that hurt us because it helps us feel like we're safe. If they hurt us again, we can sling this thing at them. But it really is causing us so much suffering, so much sickness, so much literal fatigue and exhaustion, draining of energy, feeling all this resentment. And they're fine. What's the saying of like, a lack of forgiveness is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. You're like causing all of this rumination and suffering, and they're fucking fine.
Yeah,
they're over there living their
life.
life, doing their thing, and you're like, that motherfucker, rah, rah, you know, it's like you're suffering, so that you can hold on to this, so that you can sling the mud at them if you ever need to. This leverage that we hold on to, it's all an illusion. It doesn't keep us safe. And if we realize that our lack of forgiveness is truly causing us the suffering, it helps motivate us to start to figure out, how do I let this go? How do I free myself from this?
That's real.
Yeah, well, I forgive all of you. Just kidding.
Just like that.
Let it
Just
go.
like that, we move on.
Just kidding. Please forgive all of me for all of my mistakes. There's actually a Hawaiian prayer that helped me heal myself. I teach it to clients for mirror work. It's like a shamanic Hawaiian prayer called Ho'oponopono. And it's like, the prayer is, I am sorry. Please forgive me. I love you. I thank you. And so to look myself in the eyes in the mirror, I wept as I looked myself in the eyes and said, I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I love you. I thank you. And to do that with your partner or a friendship, not even necessarily in person physically, but in your heart and in your consciousness, to truly understand that if that person caused you pain, you've probably caused them pain too. And to own that, and to also find gratitude for whatever this is, because it is a gift from the universe that is weirdly wrapped, you know, but it's a gift. And so I feel like there's a lot of value to all of these issues and tensions that we find ourselves in, and if we can find a way to have gratitude for it, we can find more peace with it quickly, you know.
I like it.
Very nice.
I love
I
that
love
prayer.
Puerto Rico.
I don't get it.
Oh wait, that's a different prayer.
Yeah,
Tell us that one
right,
too.
yeah.
Sana que sana.
Sana que sana colito de rana, sino sana hoy sanada mañana. And Christopher's mom, she's Mexican and she said it a little different, but my Spanish stepmom, that's how she said it.
Actually, I was reading a random article about Gene Hackman dying last night or whenever he
Yeah,
passed
yeah.
away.
Oh, yeah.
And it said so and so spokesperson from da 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 medical place, Chris Ramirez,
Oh,
says
wow.
it'll be several weeks before
Oh,
we
that
get the
is
reports
Chris, because
back.
it was
I
New
was like-
Mexico. That's
Mhm.
Chris. Yeah, that's crazy.
I was like, I think I'm friends with
yeah,
that
that's
guy.
him.
Wait,
Because he
what?
died in New Mexico. Gene Hackman did.
But Chris is reporting? I don't
no,
get it.
the
They
reporter
quoted
asked
him.
him.
The reporter quoted him saying, you know, it'll be 4 to 6 weeks before the toxicology reports
I
come back.
see.
That's
Hey, we
what
know
I said.
that guy,
Hey, we do know
Christopher.
that guy.
Ding, ding.
That's awesome.
Yeah, awesome.
One time, Donald Trump retweeted Chris's news story about the border in New Mexico.
Really?
But like in a way, I think that
That-
was not meant. The
Yeah.
story wasn't meant for. It was like a positive thing, and it was pretty funny.
I think it showed though the neutrality of Christopher as a reporter,
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
like that anybody can take this and share it as neutral information. I don't know.
No, I thought it was, yeah,
But
I
it was
agree
hilarious.
100%. I just remember being like, did Donald Trump just tweet my friend's news story? What is
Yep.
happening right now?
Oh man, hilarious.
Yeah.
And the
That's
kids
amazing.
were on Christopher's news story one time, testing candy.
that's
He
right.
had edibles like different that are supposed to look like the regular candy, like
gave 'em the
Reese's or
edibles.
Nerds, and he wanted the kids to like guess, and then they ate the edibles. It was a whole thing. Just kidding.
I remember that.
They
That
were
was good.
flying.
That's when it all started.
Yeah, downhill from there. Uncle Chris
I think it's time to
started
spin
it
that
all.
wheel.
Spin the wheel.
That barely touching it really
Yeah.
gets there.
AJ!
What? Why is it my turn for
Heyo!
everything today?
Wait, so what is it? The jokes?
The dad
It's a
joke.
dad joke, I
It's
think.
dad joke time.
Okay.
Did we accidentally
You
cut
stopped it,
those
didn't
up
you?
too and put those in
No,
here?
you're supposed to have your own dad joke.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I brought mine.
mine were printed and they're in here.
Even better.
There's dad jokes in here?
And so are I printed 6 jokes for myself, and I think we cut them and
Put it in with the
I
questions. Oh, it's great.
I came
Super.
prepared. I did come prepared, but
You
before
came prepared for everything.
I'm here.
Guy.
I'm so
but
proud.
before the dad joke, did you guys see the bakery that burnt down on the 17th this morning?
No.
I guess everything's toast.
Got him. I walked right into that.
Nailed it.
I'm embarrassed.
Like, I took the 51 both ways.
I was like,
Guess you
did
didn't
we
see the
go
bakery
down
then.
the 17th? That was a really good one.
That was
I told
pretty
Jake
good.
one last night, and he was
Pretty
like, "Meh."
Oh.
Wasn't that funny?
Well,
wait,
let's
it's
hear
me
it
who
next
who
time.
draws
No, what
a
is it?
question because you did the 2
What was
truths
it?
and a lie. I
What?
forgot.
What was the joke?
Yeah, let's hear it, Tiff.
Oh, yeah, it was pretty rough, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, did you hear? Did you hear that the guy that invented cough suppressants passed away?
Oh no! What?
Yeah, there was no coffin at his funeral. He was so.
That's really funny.
He was like, "Wow."
That's pretty good.
I'm like, I thought it was good.
I absolutely love corny dad jokes. I laugh so hard that it's embarrassing. I feel like I have to mute.
I think I heard you wrong.
What did
Because
you
that was
think?
pretty good.
Now I gotta know.
I could have sworn like there was no coffins or something
Oh,
like
there was
that.
no
I'm like, there was
coffins.
no coffins. Like, it would have been really funny if there was no coffin at the funeral.
That was fucking funny. Like,
Yeah, it was really
I'm like,
tough.
what's your problem?
Plurality can ruin
But I was
everything.
also, like, bouncing-
Jokes and
I was
polygamy.
bouncing
Grammar.
a grandbaby. Like, I was preoccupied.
You were
so
busy.
I'm sorry.
Okay, I'll
That's
forget
really funny.
this
Good
time.
work, baby.
Okay, should I draw a thing
A
before
dad
we go?
joke.
I forgot
Yes.
that he did the 2 truths and
All
a
right,
lie.
so wait, what is this you're
Okay,
drawing?
so these are listener questions that
Okay.
are written by ChatGPT.
Long
Take the
time
jar
listener.
And put it in front of
Okay, yes.
Oh, the jar, shaky, shaky.
You're so smart. And there are accidentally 6 dad jokes in here.
I hope we get one. That's
So,
fun. It's like not a question.
yeah,
It's just a dad joke.
exactly.
Let's do that.
All right, some are serious, some are not serious. What's something your kid has repeated to others that totally embarrassed you? Man, I don't get easily embarrassed.
Me at the store.
I was gonna say
Yes!
it's not necessarily
I was gonna
repetition,
say
but
there have
just you
been
coming up with
plenty
your
of
own
times where
shit
I've,
is
like,
great.
Yelled at my kids or gotten mad at them when they were little, and then they like mentioned it, like when you were yelling at me, and I'm like, "Shut, shut, shut," you know. But yes, for sure. When Jonah was even before 2, I think, I don't know, but he was
Yeah.
at maybe at the most 2 years old. We were at the grocery store, and the cashier was a beautiful, wonderful, nice person, but it was hard to tell their gender. And Jonah looked at him and said, "Do you have a penis just like me?"
So good.
And it was a woman. It was a woman. And then there was another time, yep, there are 2, where, what did you say? I think you just literally, yes, I was thinking of another time. There are plenty of times where
Jonah was fierce.
Speaking of Uncle Chris, one time he's all, "Your arms are too hairy." He was 2 years old. And then another time we went to visit AJ's work, and his boss was this man that, whatever. And he's like, and I was 8 months pregnant with our youngest, and he's like, "Do you have 2 babies in your belly?" And I was mortified. So
And he was
Jonah's
against
put
for
me
it
in
and was
some
like, I might eat you
hilarious
if you're not
moments.
careful.
Yeah, but
Up to me 3.
Specified.
it's like throughout Jonah's whole life, he has kept us laughing hysterically with his humor and his wittiness, and he was talking before he understood what was appropriate, because he was literally just like talking in full sentences at 18 months old. So he's just making observations, and it was really funny.
amazing.
Yeah.
Well, thanks everybody.
Yes, this was
We
fun.
did it. Thanks indeed. We appreciate you. And feel free to send us your questions. And then next episode, we will be discussing, I think, where it all began. We're going to kind of go back to the beginning and talk about before we were getting along and what that was like, and kind of leading up to the next episode, which will be this part where we're actually getting along.
Hey.
We did it.
Bye.
Thanks
Bye,
for being here,
everybody.
guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye, Felicia.
Bye.
4 parents, 9 kids, 2 houses. Didn't really want to talk about this. 4 parents, 9 kids, some queer. One thing's clear, there's no dysfunction here. 4 parents, 9 kids, 2 houses. Didn't really want to talk about this. 4 parents, 9 kids, some queer. One thing's clear, there's no dysfunction here. Babe, hand me a beer.